Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's astrologer Eric Rosen today to just kind of dive into a little bit of the astrology that's going on here. Kind of just seeing maybe some stuff coming up around some trust issues, maybe some things around concerns around money, or am I doing enough? Am I doing enough to kind of get the vision of my life to come in? And the answer is always yes, you're always doing enough. And so it's kind of like acknowledging and saying, like, yeah, like I want big things in my life. There's a vision that I want. We're all trying to move to a better, higher, comfortable road in our lives. There's something in all of our lives that feels sensitive, quite frankly, and that I don't think anyone's life looks perfect and looks the way that they want it to. And so this is that understanding of where, yeah, there's actionable steps to like take to get there, but how are we showing up in terms of the trust? Do we trust God, like, seriously, like the universe, to really deliver that to us? And then, are we maybe sometimes using more action as a bypass to really recognize where we're not really open to really receiving the magnitude of what it is that we want? There's a lot coming up around, can we surrender around the action steps that we're taking? This is a big thing going on with that Chiron and Mars retrograde in Aries of, yes, take steps, but really tap into that state. It's like if there's any frustration energy, if there's anything going on, where you're just basically feeling out of alignment, sadness, frustration, whatever it is, it's always an opportunity to slow down enough, go within with that retrograde energy and say, okay, I'm just going to be honest with myself and realize that I'm not really going to get to the place that I want to go to if this is the state that I'm in as I'm doing it. It's like I cannot attract the higher, more beautiful things that I want in my reality if I'm, misaligned there. It kind of reminds me of like a treasure map in a cartoon, where if you ever seen where they've got the footsteps, like the footprints in the sand, but then they're all going in circles and all over the place, and it's kind of funky. It's like that's sometimes where we can kind of get led, I think, off the path when we start to maybe trust the tried and true traditions or logic or the steps or anything like that. And just the key being flexibility of saying, yeah, have a plan and march forward with it. But it's like if it's producing a sense of frustration energy, it's like maybe it's kind of time to go back to, I would say, the drawing board a little bit within yourself to say, like, all right, like, is it the steps that I'm taking? Is that not in alignment? Or is it just like how I'm showing up to it? I would say a lot of it, and speaking from personal experiences, I'm moving through this with y'all. It's like, where am I end gaming? Where am I trying so hard to get to a final destination, a final solution, that I forget to be in that positive state and even celebrating like how far I've come, how far we've all come, celebrating the fact that it does seem that, collectively, that the light, I guess you could say, is winning and things don't seem as dire as they used to be. But it's also celebrating the sadness and the frustration and celebrating the fact that we have such a beautiful instantaneous feedback loop that we don't have to wait for a long time to figure out our lives. Like, yeah, we're in some, Mercury retrograde energy and a sun at the end of Libra, so we're weighing out a lot and trying to figure out some deep truth within ourselves. And so maybe it just doesn't come quick, like in the moment like that, but that's okay. It's an interesting, tidbit about where do we want to draw too many conclusions in our lives for our own mental comfort of the understanding of, like, oh, this is where it's going. Like, there's a North Node in Gemini. It's more about the openness, the curiosity of, like, where can this go? So, if we just came out of this new moon, and it's like I was trying to, rally everybody, but it's like it's okay if you're feeling a little bit depleted right now. It's just kind of part of the process, and just recognizing that sometimes it's not always just you don't always win the race like right out of the gate. It's like maybe sometimes your race car sputters a little bit out of the gate when you were so excited after a new moon, and you've got to feel like you're kind of playing catch up a little bit. But it's like you keep looking forward, you keep acknowledging God in all of it and really celebrating it, and eventually it's like it all comes together. It's like I think it's a great opportunity too, like, for people, if like they're feeling frustrated, it's like look at the times in your life where you're like, it was going this way in a way I didn't want it to, And then it all worked out. And then you almost like felt like a dumbass because you're like, God, I spent all that time like freaking out and worrying, and like it worked out perfectly, like it was going to all along. And so this is like, where can Cinderella like kind of trust the mice a little bit to kind of like help her out and stop being like so frantic, and put on those beautiful glass slippers and trust that the fairy godmother is going to show up and deliver everything and fill our cups fully. Like, can we be innocent enough to really trust and get over any trust issues around, I need the money to come in, or I need the partnerships to come in? What if it's all building but we just can't see it? This brings up too about, if there's concerns about money, are people coming in, and the impatience, and is it going to show up, and do I need to like force some big movement, some big change? It's more like, no, it's keep your eye on the vision and trust that it's going to come through, but then pamper yourself, care for yourself enough that you're totally open to receiving that vision. And so I'm giving astrology, but I'm also literally speaking from like a vulnerable personal space right now too. Like, I'm moving through this as well, and so this is just an opportunity to, I would say, give ourselves a pat on the back and be like, you're doing fine, and to maybe stop beating ourselves up so much. And that's one of the great lessons of the sun at the end of Libra with the rest of this astrology, is the balance and the harmony. It can't be all work. You've got to balance out. You've got to, take care of yourself too. So speaking of which, I hope you all are taking care, and that you take care in a really grand fashion, because, we still got a couple of months to go of some, pretty big Capricorn energy. But I trust that everybody knows what it is that that they want, deep down in your heart. You know what it is that you want. You're creating that vision. If there's frustration around that vision, or how do I make it work, or is it coming together fast enough, that's always an opportunity just to go back into the heart and go back into that space of caring for yourself and find that trust. And don't worry so much about, is the money, the partnerships, the pieces, is everything going to show up? So this is where, we're combining those elements of, I want to create an awesome reality, but also letting God, letting the universe come in and create the beautiful magic with it. I love you all. Take care.